Good afternoon, everyone. How are you all doing this Wednesday? Welcome back to my channel and thank you for joining me here again. This is your fourth stimulus check update and daily news report. The Internal Revenue Service still has to process 30 million tax returns. The delay of tax refunds is causing many Americans to struggle financially. Senior Democrats are pressuring rank and file lawmakers to support a vote to advance the $3.5 trillion spending plan without infrastructure bill. As of today, thank you so much, everyone. Complaints over tax refunds' long delays, which have been increasingly gaining prominence on social media, shows that the IRS is still suffering the consequences of this global crisis. According to the National Taxpayer Advocate, the IRS is still holding 29 million tax returns for manual processing. In a regular basis, the Internal Revenue sends refunds in a maximum of 3 weeks since taxpayers issued their return. However, this crisis is still causing many problems in the American administration, not only because most assistance centers are still closed. There was a backlog of 2019 paper tax returns that the IRS was unable to process when the crisis burst back in March 2020, which has caused all of the process to be delayed. The IRS officially announced in their website that some Americans might experience delays in their payments, specifying those who are most likely to have a longer wait being those which need a correction due to some changes made by the recovery rebate credit, or to verify income for the earned income tax credit and additional child tax credit. Nevertheless, the IRS has processed more tax returns than not, with 68 million refunds done so far from the 91 million filed for the 2020 tax year. Stats still not managing to calm the 29 million Americans still waiting for their refund.
Madam President, as a former mayor, I do understand how important physical infrastructure is. Roads, bridges, water systems, wastewater plants. And I am delighted that finally we are beginning to address our long neglected physical infrastructure. Frankly, it is rather incredible that year after year we ignore crumbling bridges and roads. And as we address our physical infrastructure, we can create a whole lot of good-paying jobs. So that bill that we are discussing right now is enormously important. But, Madam President, I will tell you what is even more important, and that is to address the long-neglected needs of the working families of our country, of the children, of the elderly, of the sick, of the poor, whether they are black or white or Latino, Native American, Asian American. These are needs that Congress has ignored for much, much too long. Now, I understand that Senator McConnell, the Republican leader, and others are really shocked by this bill. They cannot believe it. Imagine, just imagine, that the United States Senate is addressing the needs of working families and is going to stand up for ordinary Americans rather than just the wealthy and powerful. What is this world coming to?
Lots of desperate people are waiting for their refunds, are trying to call the IRS on its toll-free lines, which are up to 300% this filing season. This issue, added to the fact that most taxpayer assistance centers have not yet reopened, is causing the agency just to pick up 7% of their calls. With this going on, some taxpayers have to wait between 11 minutes and 30 minutes for the call to go through. Likeliness that someone will answer the phone to give you the information you want is very low. Therefore, the IRS call service will not be much help either. So what are your thoughts on this, everyone? Please leave them in the comment section below. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and her leadership team are mounting a pressure campaign on centrist Democrats to get them to support their party's budget resolution without a vote on the bipartisan infrastructure bill. And they now have the White House's support for a procedural vote to advance them together next week. In a letter yesterday, Pelosi stated, "Today, President Biden endorsed the House rule, which will allow us to consider the budget resolution and the bipartisan infrastructure bill next week. Any delay in passing the budget resolution could threaten our ability to pass this essential legislation through reconciliation." This jeopardizes the once-in-a-generation opportunity we face to enact initiatives that meets the needs of working families at this crucial time. Nancy Pelosi's letter followed a carefully worded statement from the White House spokesman Andrew Bates, supporting the Speaker's proposed rule. It would advance infrastructure and the budget resolution, which would then unlock the reconciliation process through which Democrats hope to pass their $3.5 trillion spending plan without any GOP support. The proposed rule also includes a voting bill, but this is simply a procedural mechanism of bringing the bills to the House floor. There would be a separate vote on final passage for each piece of legislation. The White House did not take a position on when those votes should happen. Andrew Bates stated, "All three are critical elements of the president's agenda, and we hope that every Democratic member supports this effort to advance these important legislative actions." Representative Josh Gottheimer threatens to torpedo it until the House passes the infrastructure bill. Gottheimer, in multiple public appearances, has not backed down from his group's demands. Although he told Politico and Punchbowl he is willing to negotiate with Nancy Pelosi. And his group gained some leverage this week when Representative Brian Fitzpatrick said that he believes there are enough Republicans who support the infrastructure bill to offset Democrats who might vote against it. But with less than a week until the House comes back, the group of 9 moderates will have to stick together amid intense pressure from top Democrats. So everyone, that's the end of the video for this afternoon. I do hope you found some of this information helpful. I appreciate that you are all here with me. Thank you so much, everyone.